And we're live. Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to welcome you to Rocket Fuel Expert Spotlight. I am Wanda Toro-Torini. I am the founder of the Rocket Fuel community, and I want to tell you a little bit about what the Rocket Fuel community is before I introduce my wonderful guest. Oh, no, that way. This whole mirror thing, I just never get it. But at Rocket Fuel, what we do is we unite experts who love to connect with other expertise, because we all know that if we stay in our zone of excellence, our zone of genius, and we bring on other experts, then that is Rocket Fuel. But we also focus on visibility, because how are people going to know who you serve and how well you serve them if you don't commit to visibility? And we also say visibility is Rocket Fuel. So today I am so happy to introduce you to one of our wonderful Rocket Fuel community members, NAGEEN RIFFAT. Welcome.
Thank you.
I am so happy to have you, because NAGEEN's a coach. She's a keynote speaker. She's a business strategist. She's an expert on emotional intelligence. We were just talking about all of the things that she is requested to speak about. She has such an amazing, broad background of expertise. And I asked her today to kind of talk about how you could use this secret of emotional intelligence that she is an expert on for team building. But before we get into that, NAGEEN, I would love to understand, how did you get into the entrepreneurial world? I know that you've been in business for like a little over 6 years, right?
Right. Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here, and this is one of my favorite face groups. We are into so many groups, but this has always been rewarding interaction, and the kind of support and comments and feedback that we get on this platform is definitely far beyond what we get from others. So that is for sure true professional. So really like it. And then the best part is that everyone, they kind of elevate each other. It's not like pulling them down. Even if you don't agree, there's a way of stating it. And that brings us again to my topic, emotional intelligence. So I think this group kind of excel in emotional intelligence. So
did you hear that, guys? Yay!
Yes, you're doing well. Now coming to my introduction is, as she said, that I've been an entrepreneur for 6 years, but I've been with the corporate world. I've been working for global corporations for more than 15 years. And as a marketing strategist, that is where the whole business idea started. I started as a business consultant initially. But then while I was working with the business women, with the entrepreneurs, the thing I felt is that it was not just about the plan. It was not just about the pricing, the audience. I think most of us, some way or the other, do it right.
Mm-hmm.
The problem was when everyone started seeing their business as something that needs a lot of extra effort. And when they feel the stress, that's where they start giving up or taking chances, or they start opting or choosing things which they are not like. They make hasty decisions. For instance, they'll say, okay, let's start a YouTube channel. And then within like a week or so, they would feel, oh, we are not getting the results. Then they would move to some other platform and jump something else. Why this happens is because even if you are selling, like you're a store, even if you're a store, a brick and mortar kind of business, or you're an online entrepreneur, the thing is that your audience needs consistency. Your audience needs patience. And where do you get that? That's all inside in your mind. You need to train yourself. You need to understand what you actually are. So when I talk about emotional intelligence with your teams, even like your internal team and your external team is your clients. They are a team because you both work together.
Sure.
Right? It's a teamwork. You cannot make your client achieve her or his goals if that person is not participating equally or more than what you are trying to help them with. It's
So,
teamwork.
so this is really important. It's very important to think about as an entrepreneur, as and you're trying to serve your client base, especially if you're doing work that is on a group basis, for example, or even courses, right? It's it's unfortunate, and I don't know, for those of you that are listening, I don't know if you realize, I mean, as entrepreneurs, so many times, at least most of the entrepreneurs that I interact with, right, there's this great desire for impact, right, and for change. So you put together this course because you have so much knowledge and you throw it out there. You want to make it cost effective, right? Because in the corporate world, it's expensive to get consultants,
Right.
to help you with XYZ, right? So you put together this course. Maybe you have a group or some group meetings, to support it, and you throw it out there. And guess what? The statistic is that over 90% of people that buy that course will not even finish it.
Correct.
And that's crushing. So what you're saying, there's an emotional intelligence like journey that we kind of have to get, realizing that it's interesting that you're saying that the client base is also your team, because together you're the ones that are going to get that result, right? It's your course and your interaction with them as well as their participation. So it's interesting that you just said that. One, it's being able to accept and understand that dynamic. And
Right.
then how do you resolve it? By tapping into that emotional intelligence and trying to gain more interaction. So what would you say to somebody that, first of all, is like, shit, I just put together this course and like nobody's opening it up. I mean, now obviously there are some people that are like, money, 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 right? They don't care whether people open up the course or not. But let's talk about the people that I connect with, which are the people that actually care. So how do they manage that?
See, when we talk about emotional intelligence, there are four main domains of emotional intelligence that we work on. The
Mhm.
first is self awareness, where we as a person work on our strengths and our weaknesses. We identify what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are.
Okay.
The second part or the second domain is self management. Now, you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are, but how you're going to manage them. You know what triggers you to anger, you know what fuels you with passion, but how are you going to manage this so that you get maximum results? So, when you are through
Mm.
with these two, then we take the next step, which is the social awareness, where the clients come, the crowd comes, the audience come. And what happens is that when you are aware of your own strengths and your own weaknesses, your awareness or your understanding of the outer world or the people around you becomes much more easier, because you don't play defensive. You don't play as a dictator. You don't play to win, you play to impact. There's a difference, right?
Yes.
Because you know your sense, like you see, if somebody calls in and says that, okay, I'm just giving an example, let's use the word Juliet, right? So somebody calls in, Juliet is like marvelous coach, she's wonderful, but she knows that the moment anyone questions her or challenges her that what you are saying is not right, she will become defensive. That's a weakness, right? So the moment somebody
Mm.
challenges her point, she has researched it. I'm not saying that Juliet's research was wrong or whatever she put together is not making sense, but it
Mhm.
may not make sense to two, three, 500 people.
Mhm.
But it will definitely make sense to many others or even one person. Now, what if Juliet knows that her weakness is that she cannot take criticism positively? She's going to work towards it. So instead of jumping to an argument with the client or somebody from the audience interacting with her, instead of getting into an argument, she would explain. She would understand that this is not making sense to that person, not because that person has a problem with me saying it. The problem is that the person can't see it in her circumstances or in the world around her.
I love that. And so when you're saying play to impact, it's like she has to change in her mind that
Right.
her objective is the result, not to establish herself as authority. It's not ego driven. It's not all that. And if you remove that, then you just see you see the criticism differently. You see why it didn't work differently, right? Versus it being like, oh, failure on me. It's like, okay, well, that didn't work. How can I address it a little bit different? Well, I mean, it sounds great, but that's really difficult.
Yes, and that's where I come in. That I help my clients, and my client base is like a combination of corporate women and entrepreneurs, and that's where I come in and I help them to understand that this is what it is. This is your problem. Like, accept it and let's resolve it. I'll help you through the journey. I'll guide you. I'll be your guide. I'm not your coach. I'll be your guide. I'll guide you, and you have to walk the way. You have to do it yourself. Right. So now when we like, you see, emotional intelligence is so important in this time because we are burdened with so much of crisis, personal crisis, financial crisis, every kind of, our desire to get accepted, our desire to be seen, the feel that we are not wanted, the feel that you are unseen or unheard, unwanted. You put it in any circumstances, you put it in any situation, these are the things that we are going through. Corporate world, people have problems. It's like now everybody in the corporate is talking about diversity, inclusion, equity, equality, everything. Right now, it's the hottest thing. And one tip for all my entrepreneurs, no matter what you guys are doing, whatever your niche is, even if you're a mental health coach, even if you are into Reiki, even if you are into brand management, whatever your niche is, start focusing on the need of D&I, the diversity and inclusion piece that is so much needed in the corporate. You will make more money. You'll make more impact.
So tell
a
me,
little pivot there can help you.
So tell me a little bit more about this space, the diversity inclusion space and niche. I mean, I feel like, it makes sense, obviously, but I feel like I see D&I like popping up all over the place, and I'm like, what happened? Yay! I'm happy, but
how am I going to do it, right?
Yes.
But see, the corporations, they are right now, I'll give you, because I work my major clientele, if I have to make a percentage, so it's 60-40. 60 is corporate client, and when I say corporate client, it's corporation itself or women or men coming from the corporate sector, and they want to get to the next level. And the 40% is entrepreneurs or people who are coaches, even coaches, and how, so because they want to learn emotional intelligence so they can perform better. So this is the breakdown of my clientele. I'll tell you why I'm saying the diversity and inclusion piece is because the corporations or even one person, individual, a corporate person, the thing is that they know that there is something missing. They have not been taking everybody together. Corporations know that. That is why they're focusing, because they don't want to get on the media that this was rejected or my project was rejected, because now you can go on media and talk about anything, right? But nobody wants to get that, like defame themselves. Now, how you can work on this is diversity and inclusion. Start breaking it down into pieces. What is diversity and inclusion? Simple, human understanding. It's your ability to involve people to work together, respect each other. These are the simple things, components of diversity and inclusion. So now there are corporations who will ask you to sign, or they will say that they are equal opportunity employer. They hire veterans, they hire handicapped, they hire refugees. Okay. But hiring is one thing. Are you really helping them to grow to the next level?
Right. Are you just ticking off the
Yeah, we're just
boxes or,
checking the box, right?
yeah.
And now corporations know that they have been checking the box, and now they are, and now people are focused. Like, what are they doing? It's
Mm.
not about color. It's not about being white, black, or brown. It's about being accepted
Well,
as a
yeah.
professional.
And I think this is interesting because diversity and inclusion is not necessarily about ethnicity, color,
Correct.
and culture. It could literally be understanding that you have somebody that comes from the city and somebody that comes from the country.
True.
It's about understanding that you have a single mom, or you have a 20-year-old with a 50-year-old, right? And they're experiencing different things within their lives. And yeah, and I think in some cases, some people may feel a sensitivity about it just being about culture,
Right.
right? And I think it's very interesting to kind of step back and saying, sure, cultural differences may have been the more obvious, but
Right.
underlyingly, there's a lot of static in communication because we actually all come from different perspectives.
Right. And you see, the thing is that we cannot blame that, like, I had a beautiful, successful corporate career. When I started my entrepreneurial journey, I came here as a refugee in US, just for the information of the audience.
Yes,
But
please.
at this point, or throughout the journey, I cannot say that I was pushed back because of my color, skin color, or because of my status being refugee.
Mm,
If I could not achieve anything, was because I wasn't prepared to go to that level at that very point.
interesting.
And how do you get to know this? When you're emotionally intelligent, you shift the blame game.
Right, right,
you
right, right.
you make things accountable, you make yourself accountable. You don't shift it. You don't say that because I'm a brown, because I'm a single mom, that is why they don't want to give me this project. No, go bigger, deeper, further. Why they don't
Yes.
want to give you the project? Maybe because you don't have those excel skills. Maybe you are not playing as a team member. You're not
Right,
a team
because
player.
you're disempowering yourself
Yes.
by you're saying basically I can't succeed because and in the entrepreneurial world it's like, well, I don't have a bazillion dollar family, right? I don't have a nice nest egg to try out my idea. I don't have yeah, all of us can kind of say, well, this is my situation, so I can't do XYZ no matter what it is. And it's super powerful to be able to say, I mean, it takes work to go through that process and shift the blame game and actually recognize that maybe there are things that you could do or that you could stop doing,
Right. And then
right?
I'll give you a real life example. I had a client, it's about like 2.5 years ago. I had a client, and she was starting her chocolate business. And a chocolate business, and like two businesses together, chocolate and some real gems. So she was starting it together, and she
Mhm.
wanted to have a store with both, like the chocolates and the gems, and she was trying to, gel them together, and a very unique idea, but she was trying to do it.
Uh-huh.
And then she hired me as a business consultant. I'm making it very clear. Keep that in mind, because this is going to help you towards the end of the story, right? So she
Okay.
hired me as a business consultant, not as a leadership coach or anything, as a business consultant to help her, with her business plan, with her branding, with, like marrying that chocolate and the gems together. So, all that stuff, all that difficult pieces.
Yeah.
Now, after two calls, she called me and she said, by the way, do you have any background of selling jewelry or chocolates? I said, no. Have you ever worked with an entrepreneur who had, like this kind of business? I was very honest. I said, no. And then she said, then how will you be able to help me? Because you don't know anything about chocolate and you don't know anything about jewelry.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing I did was I tried to explain her that I'm a business consultant. Regardless of the product, I'll be able to help you.
Uh-huh.
But within 3-4 minutes, I realized that this is not going to work because she's focused on my weakness.
She was ready to she
Yes.
was ready to play the blame game already.
Yes.
It's like,
So
oh, I'm not going
she
to
was ready.
succeed.
So I told her, can you give me 24 hours and I'll get back to you. I took that special 24 hours. This is the key. Note it down anywhere. If you have to take a decision and you know that decision could make a difference in the lives of the other person and yourself, take 24 hours time to think over it. Don't jump to
Mm.
conclusions. I told
Mhm.
her, let me get back to you in 24 hours. I told my team that we are not working with this client. I'm refunding her amount in full. My team disagreed. They said no, she will win. She tried to put this thing on you, the label that you are incapable. You are not, you can't do this, and don't, that those kind of
Right, exactly.
responses
Like, oh,
and
I'm going to
feedback.
prove
Yeah,
her wrong. Like, you could have
yeah.
proved her wrong, Najeen.
So this is exactly the feedback was coming from team and from my close
Right.
family members as well. But I took the step and I called her very graciously, and I told her that, "Oh, I'm sorry, I will not be able to continue with this contract, and I never wanted to get into an argument. Even for the 2 calls that I had, I did not take any payments. I'm not saying you do the same. I'm just telling you this thing because I'm going to connect it with something very special towards the end." So
Yep.
I just told her that, like, I'm refunding your full amount. We are finishing this contract and it's over. She said okay. She was fine with that because she
Yeah.
wanted it, right?
Right.
It
Yeah.
was this was done. After 45 days, that lady called me again. And she said, "Can you do the branding? Because I have worked on my supply chain, my stuff is coming. Now I need somebody to do the branding and the pricing, and nobody is better than you because I want to have corporate clients. Because this kind of arrangement that I'm doing, Gems, I want to give as gift, like corporate giveaways. So I won't be able to find someone better than you. So you be my coach." I said, okay. Again, 24 hours. And then I got back to her. And then when I told my team I'm taking this client on board, and they were like, "Are you crazy? You were the one who said no to her, and now you're calling her back." Then I said, "Now you need to hear this." And audience, my
All
friends, my
right. Here.
beautiful people, hear this. The reason I took her back was because now she was ready. She was ready to play. She was ready to do the work. Now she trusted me because at that point I would have forced her to be with me or got into an argument. Every
Mm.
time she would have failed, she would have blamed me. Every
Mm-hmm.
time I would have asked to make any tweaks in her business plan or in her packaging or in her product or supply chain, she would have blamed me that you don't know, that is why this result is. But now she was ready to take me as like an expert, take my
Mm-hmm.
advice, work on it. Even if it doesn't work, she was ready to work again with me that, okay, we tried this packaging didn't work. Najeen, your suggestion was wrong. Let's do it another way. Right? So this is teamwork. Now, where does this emotional intelligence comes? Emotional intelligence comes because I thought it out of, not like jumped to conclusions, no
Yes.
label, no blame. I looked at the things, I knew my strengths, my weaknesses, my focus area. I could see the other person where she was coming from. It was her first time in business, putting all her savings into that business. She never
Mhm.
wanted to fail. And at the same point, deep inside her, she was looking for somebody she could blame if she would fail.
Right.
Now, after 45 days, when she came, she was out of it. I don't know how it was, but she was. And then I could work with her.
And now you could be more effective because
Right.
basically back then she would have been pushing it. You would not have been able to actually get the results that you knew that she was capable of getting. And
Right.
I want to ask the audience if anybody has experienced that, where you kind of had that feeling like they're not ready, but it's tough. I mean, when you're struggling as an entrepreneur and you want to get that other client, you need to kind of fill the bank account, right? And there are so many folks that would kind of respond like, oh, I wish I had the luxury to be able to say no to somebody because I need to pay the bills, right? um but she came back, and then that sort of client is also the client that once they are able to receive the benefit, then they'll be able to be an ambassador for you, right? And to
Right.
share their testimonial, or share with others and hopefully bring other clients in. But the previous version of her would have been
Yes.
that
And
pain, right?
and I understand, because trust me, I'm not saying that, like I have like a full bank account. I'm a single mom of two boys. And
Woo, girl.
as I said that I came here as a refugee. So I don't know but you all can imagine that I left my whole like support system, my culture, my culture, my comfort zone. I left
Mm,
everything to save my boys and get them here safely, because it was a life threatening situation. So I got in here. Then I settled. So things are not easy for me. But
mm,
the difficult decisions, and this is where entrepreneurs need to have this emotional intelligence with them,
mm,
because it guides us to be patient, it guides us to believe in ourselves, it helps us to see the better part. See, if I ask right now to stop everything and tell me one good thing about yourself, trust me, everybody is going to take more than 5 seconds. Everybody is going to take more than 5 seconds. Oh, what am I supposed to answer her? Like, what is I'm absolutely good at? But the
mm.
moment I ask you people, tell me what is the worst about you. Here it goes. My eyes.
Well,
I
let
don't
me
look
bring up the
beautiful in the
list.
camera. I look fat. Black color doesn't suit me. I mean, I'm like, I don't have the right hair. I don't have this. I don't have so we are so focused on our weaknesses. We are so kind of experts in our weaknesses, that we don't see the good part, we don't
Mm,
acknowledge it. And if we
mhm.
don't acknowledge it, we don't see it, trust me, the world will struggle in seeing it at you.
Right,
You
right,
are saying something that you don't believe in. You are
right.
saying that you will help the person heal, but you have not healed yourself. And this will be evident at some point or the other. Like
Mhm,
I gave you an example of entrepreneurship, let me tell you one thing. If anybody here is doing the dual thing, I have done that, doing the corporate job and the entrepreneur piece, right? Together.
mhm,
Let
mhm.
me tell you, emotional intelligence help you in your in your work as well, in your job, like 9 to 5 job, in your paid jobs. And remember that the decision of promoting you, the decision of giving you extra benefits is not made on the table of the day, on the day of appraisal.
Mm.
It is done much before that. So
Hmm.
the moment, see, the companies, when they put out this request, this vacancy or a role available, they ask like what degrees they need. Like they want you to, if you are an engineer, you have to be a degree in engineering or a majors in something or something. This is all, these are your skill sets that that put you, that get got you in the
In
company.
the room, yeah.
Yes. Now your growth or your promotion does not depend on this, because your certificates, your diplomas, your degrees got you there. They know you have that. Now they're
Mm,
not promoting you or holding back is because the conversation that happens in the room of decision makers for you, the kind of conversation, because I've been in those conversations, is
mhm,
okay, if we promote her, we heard that she's not good at feedback. She will not be a good manager.
mhm,
She she's very loud. she has no control, or he has no control over his emotions. He's not a team player. He is very aggressive with the customers. Now, if you focus on these terms, what are these? These are not degrees. These are your inner capabilities, emotional
Yeah.
intelligence. So
Yes.
your degrees, your skills, they help you to get into the room, but to go higher, you need that emotional intelligence, awareness about it.
Woo! Okay, there's a lot. I don't want people to miss out. So I first, for everybody who already watches Rocket Fuel, you know that we always give you the opportunity to connect and really get some information, like deeper information, from our experts. So I invite you to text RF-107 to 411321, because we have all the show notes about NAGEEN. She filled out some amazing information. She dropped some really great insider rocket fuel in here. And then every single one of our guests, we ask if they have a free gift to offer, right? So if you text, you will get her, I'm sorry, there's a lot of stuff, her mindset reboot, which is awesome. This is like a whole workbook, guys. I can't even, I'm like, I can't even aim the camera correctly, but this is like some really, really fantastic information. And I know I want to thank you, NAGEEN, for giving this to our audience, because I know that that you try and keep it with your clients and such. And so this is a great gift. It's just a wonderful way, honestly, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're working within a corporate environment, everything that NAGEEN is saying is so super valuable, because what you said right now was really powerful. It was those skill sets that got you into that seat. But if you're frustrated because you're not ascending the way you feel like you should, right? What you deserve, right? Then maybe there's a little bit of a mindset reboot. There's a little bit of a reset, right? So so I'd invite you to text RF-107. We're going to continue the conversation, but RF-107 to 411321 and if you're in the US, and if you are international, you could text it to +1 909 741 1321. Text to that. The message will be RF-107. It'll ask you for your email address, and you're going to get this packet, literally the packet of info. So so let's continue on. Actually, I have a couple things that I wanted to ask you, because I started writing this and I know that there's a fourth. So emotional intelligence, you said there were four things: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and
Social management.
social management. Well, that would make sense. I'll write that in there. And I think that even though the topic was focused on team building, I think that we all need to realize that in every one of our environments, we need to be in that team building mindset, to not think that you are not capable of influencing that dynamic, right? Like everybody needs to be aware that they all have potential influence in that team dynamic. And that's really interesting, because I hope that some people don't look at this and say, well, I'm not in a position, I don't have a team yet. I'm a solopreneur, or I work for a corporation. I'm an employee. I'm like part of the team, but I don't run a team. Well, guess what? All of these discussions that we're having about emotional intelligence are really powerful in understanding why you're not getting what you deserve, what you feel like, what the heck, and understanding perhaps what the perception is of the other people that need to make the decision, or the other people that you're working with.
Yes, and I will make a note here that the niche that I work in, or I chose to work. See, I told you all that I started as a business consultant. It's much easier than putting yourself out as an expert on emotional intelligence. I'm not undermining the significance, importance, and hard work needed to be a business consultant, because I know I've done that. I still do that, part of it. But this kind of niche is something that I have, every time I have to go to create my audience, every time I have to go explain them, give them examples, do the hard work every single time. Even on my post, my Facebook post, my LinkedIn post, I have to do it over and over again every time. Before putting the actual thought of the post, I really need to create that thing to bring it down to that point so people can understand and connect. So why I'm saying this is, not every single niche is different. It has its own plus and minus. You may get some niche, you get clients like this. In
Mm-hmm.
some, it's a slow process. But keeping your emotional intelligence into place, your strengths, your weaknesses, your own power to, shine. It's so important that you don't keep switching.
Mm.
It will take time. Even if you're struggling now, trust me, you are going to, because you are a rock star. I give
Mhm.
example this to many people. And it's like, it's so funny. My little one, my son, who is now 12 years, when on his sixth birthday, I had written a post on this, and it got like really a lot of interaction and feedback, because it's funny. It's like how I tweaked it. He, forced me to buy him a flashlight, right? And
Uh-huh.
when I bought him a flashlight, that flashlight was shining bright under the bed, in the garden, in the school, in the car, wherever he was carrying it, the flashlight was on. Why?
Uh-huh.
Why? Question is why? Because it was designed to shine. It's not about the circumstances. It's wherever he was taking it, it was shining because it was designed to shine. Now,
Uh-huh.
here's my thing: each one of you, each one of us is designed to shine and
Mm.
impact, regardless of the circumstances around us, regardless of what is happening in the world. We are
Mm.
designed to shine and impact. So we will. And how we will? If we keep our batteries alive. And what are the batteries? Our strengths. What are the batteries? Our weaknesses. We keep them low. Our ego.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's how things work. You, even if you are a single person who is writing the post, I've done it for many years. Trust me, sweethearts, I have done this for many years. Writing the
Mhm.
post myself, doing the videos. I think each one of us have done that in our journey. And we do it before we delegate. Now, emotional intelligence also comes when you are at the position where you need to delegate, but because you have been doing this for so long yourself, you don't trust the other person,
Yeah.
right? You don't delegate it because you say, oh my god, whether he or she will do it the way I want to do it. Give them the chance to shine. Somebody gave to you. Now
Mhm.
transfer that trust to the other person. He or she will
Mhm.
bring a new color to your work, will add new value. You may learn something,
Right.
right? So but what I'm trying to emphasize here is that it doesn't matter if you are a single person or you are having a team of 40, 50, because even if you are a single person today as a solopreneur, you haven't started it to remain this way for the rest of the life.
Right.
You started your entrepreneurial journey, or you started as an individual contributor in an organization, because
Mhm.
at some point you want to be the CEO, or at some point you want to be a person or a business having multiple locations and thousands of people working for you.
Right.
So how do you design, how do you craft that journey?
Mhm.
By working towards yourself and then putting that out, connecting it to every single thing that you do.
Mhm.
This COVID thing, the year 2020, we all feel that, oh, wish we could just erase it from our lives. It got us into debts. It got us into so much friction in our relationships, frustrations, everything. This is all what, if I say COVID, this is all what people start talking about. But
Right.
can you
Right.
please shift it to the fact that how humble we have become, how understanding we have become towards others as
Mhm.
entrepreneurs, as clients, both.
Yes.
Because I remember I had a power outage um, back in, and it doesn't happen. I mean, I moved to Houston from Connecticut in 2019. So in Connecticut, it never happened that it snowed and there's a power outage or something.
Right.
It's
But in
normal,
Houston,
right? Yeah,
it was
it's
like,
normal, right? It's normal. I never, but I remember that once there was something wrong in the apartment complex that I was living in Connecticut, and there was a power outage just limited to my, and I was working from home, and I could not connect on a video call with the client, and she was somewhere. She was trying to show me something, and it was a difficult situation, and she sent me a nasty email that
mm,
I should have stepped to a coffee house, or like helped her out, because my her appointment was there and all that stuff. She forgot that I mean, there was no power in my apartment, so how could I leave my kids behind, but that
right.
wasn't the thing there. So lack of emotional intelligence, lack of empathy. But she sent me a very nasty email. That's one thing. Now, moving forward, this was pre-COVID. Now, post-COVID, you all know that we had the worst snowstorm in Texas. So even at my place, we had no water for 5 days, and we have like for 10 days probably. Yes, even today the repairs are going, and so I didn't get a chance to shower. Like I wash my hair and straighten them. That's the reason they are tied like this,
You look
right?
fabulous.
so so they have like so even because they're working, there are repairs going on, but the point is that there was no power for 5 days and people were struggling. Now my clients are writing to me, and I've heard that from many others as well, that instead of like getting into that frustration kind of thing, it's more empathy. Are you okay? Is
Yeah.
there anything we can do, although they are like out of state or out of US, but is there anything we can help you? Take your time, settle
Mhm.
down, and then we can hold our things. And towards the end of every email, it's like, if we could wait the entire year, we can wait a week for you to go come back.
Right.
Right?
Right. This big shift of like, well, actually.
Yeah. So now is the time when people have realized the importance of emotional intelligence, and they kind of have, we all have buried. It's not about others. I'm talking about myself. I was impatient, even calling somebody, like especially the customer services. My favorite, Bank of America, you call them and then you never hear from them, right? It's like
Ah.
no, 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 no. The music goes on and on. And
That is the true test of
yes,
emotional intelligence. I'm
yes, you
telling
go there,
you.
and the moment somebody would come on the phone, right? The moment somebody would come on the phone, all my frustration that was going on because of this turn on music, that actually went on that person. That, oh, I was waiting for 5 you, and then after every 2 minutes, I would, while having a conversation, I would tell them that I had all the papers ready with me, but then I was on put on hold for 15 minutes. I had to drive. So papers are at home. Now I don't have. I'm not giving them. I was trying. I always ended up being nasty to them. It's not always, but nasty. I'm vulnerable here. I'm like sharing the truth.
Yeah, it happens. Like, even if you're an expert in something, that doesn't mean that you like
Yeah, it happens.
do
Like
it
I'm
all the
just sharing the natural part of humans with you guys. Even if you are an entrepreneur, this happens, right? But now every time I'm put on hold and I'm like, okay, I'm listening to music, I'm doing the work, and when somebody was about, first question is, how are you doing? How are things with you? The first thing. The last thing is, stay safe, stay calm. We all
Yes.
have to say this, right? So similarly, I'm advising each one of you. I'm advising everybody in the circle. And then because it has a ripple effect, you start doing it yourself. When you will master emotional intelligence, it will give a ripple effect on your clients. You will not only rise in your business, in your personal, professional journey, but you will see people take, like, it's not that drugs or bad things have addiction. The addiction of goodness is more powerful.
Yeah.
If they see their coach practicing emotional intelligence to the core, they would
Mhm.
do the same thing. Imagine if they start doing it, they will get results and they will see you as a success. They will
Right.
put you as a person who made that success possible for them.
This is powerful, super secret team building, life building, relationship building
Yes.
goodness. Oh my God. But so, how do I know? Sitting here in the audience listening, I'm sitting here as the host listening. How can somebody know that they have some opportunity for improvement in the emotional intelligence arena? What are some signs that they could kind of reflect upon and be like, all right, well, maybe I should get this little mindset reboot. Give us
Okay.
some
So
examples.
here is the thing. You can lie to the world, but you can never lie to your mirror.
Mm,
You can never lie to yourself. You yourself know what is the, you may not know the reason of the problem, but you may know that you're not good. Have you heard there are many people who say that, oh, I don't have patience for this.
uh-huh.
If
Yeah.
I would have been at your place, I would have blasted that person,
Right.
right? I would have called them and given them a good one. These are all red flags. There is
Mhm.
something deep inside that needs to be discussed, worked out, and then this gift that I'm sharing with you. This is the first thing that I give when somebody says that they are ready to sign up with me. Even before they sign up, I tell them to do this. They can take a week, complete this first, because honestly guys, honestly ladies, rock stars, superstars, please download it and do it for yourself.
Yeah.
You will know where you are standing, you will know where you have to go, trust me. And it also helps you to believe that it's okay to ask for help.
Right. But it's a pretty common challenge. I don't want to call it a problem. It's a it's just a challenge in general. Um I think that for entrepreneurs, we can get so focused on, you know, my desire, my reason for losing my job, my quest to prove people right, to prove people wrong, actually, right, that I could do it, and you tend to get into this little kind of me against the world sort of feeling,
Right.
because if you're not in a community of entrepreneurs, first of all, if you're not a community of entrepreneurs, it really is that, right, that everybody around you is kind of saying like, what are you, crazy? They don't understand what you're doing, right? So you're constantly in this sort of like just combative sort of no a sort of situation. And then now things start working out well, and then you have to start integrating team, but you're in this like battle mode, right? He's like, yeah, I've done it by myself. You know what I mean? And then there's this switch, because it was like survival mode, right, to kind of push all those naysayers out of the way, and when things weren't going well, to just kind of like push on. So I mean, I obviously I'm not the expert, but I will say I'm a pretty darn good expert at entrepreneurs in general, right? And understanding, being an entrepreneur for over 15 years, and just meeting so many entrepreneurs, like we all go through that emotional journey, and then it makes it very, very hard to bring people on for the ride.
Yes. See, and then you can take a simple example. The example is that, like when, I mean, each one of us, we are human beings. Even if you have, your pet, your dogs and your cats, like they're tiny and then they grow. As they grow, their needs become different. Their needs become,
Yes.
so this is how it is. So as an entrepreneur, when you started, Your needs were low. It was okay for you to, somebody to come, like you were dependent on maybe your partner or your friend to, change your diaper. And I'm not saying like in real terms, in terms like, like help you with that, help you in the initial stages, right? Because that's how it is. But then you learn that, you can go to the restroom and, you can service yourself. Right? That's where it comes in, right? So you grow, you grow,
Yeah.
you grow with every single day. You grow in your business and professionally and personally. You grow. Even your needs, like as a teenager, is different, and then now our needs are different. As we grow old, things would change the other way. And so, take your entrepreneur journey the same way, that when you're growing, you're in the growing phase, you will need people to come in your life, the teachers to help you, and it's okay to ask for help. Like when you are
Right.
in high school, if you are struggling in doing algebra, you will ask your algebra teacher to help you with that, or your geometry teacher or your geography teacher to help you with that, right?
Mhm.
But then when you are but that and her help at that point was so important, because you had to get good grades at that level to get to the college. But in college you did journalism, you never needed a geography teacher, or or anybody else. The
Yes.
need was different. That doesn't mean that the people who helped you or the people you left behind in the journey are no more important. They played their part. You are growing, you will meet new people,
Mhm.
include new people, your audience will change, your clientele will change, everything will change. I'll tell you, when I started as a speaker, I was only called to speak for domestic violence awareness.
Mm.
Although I'm a business consultant, marketing, branding for corporations, and then emotional intelligence, my favorite piece. But I was getting called to speak and paid speaking for domestic violence awareness, because at that point, but I took that because I knew that the world needs to hear my story.
Right.
And I'm not supposed to stand on that platform and cry that I was beaten, I was hurt financially, physically, mentally, emotionally. I am going to use this stage for the vision I have created for myself, to
Mhm.
emerge as an expert on emotional intelligence. That was my focus. Although I started as a domestic violence awareness keynote speaker, but today I'm not that.
Right.
I do that piece voluntarily. I go there because that's close to my heart, because of my story. I do that free of cost. Even if they offer, I say no. But
Mhm.
I use that stage. How I use it, and I'm asking all of you to use your emotional intelligence, put your vision there. When you do this exercise, you will know exactly where you want to be, your future thing, right? And then start building those blocks. And you will know what kind of people will come into your life, or you need to connect with what kind of people, what kind of groups, what kind of money you're going to charge.
You'll be ready
Yes, you'll
for
be
those
ready.
opportunities.
Yes. So I was using the domestic violence awareness keynote speaking to let not to show people my scars, like the I have physical scars as well, not to show that, but I stood there, and the thing I was telling them was, even to those women who were struggling, I was telling them, focus on your strengths. And I was trying to take every conversation to emotional intelligence, because now I can use all those previous talks to market myself.
Ha ha ha.
Do it, guys, do it. Just sit, take this printout, work on it, and do it. You have your vision. You may not be there now. I'm telling you, you may not be there now, but that's okay.
Mhm.
But you can take every single step to be there. Connection. And this will make the connection.
Yeah. This is great stuff, and I really do hope that whether you're an entrepreneur or you are an employee within a corporate environment, if you even if you think of this as building your family as a team, your relationships as a team, um, all of these tips were just so super powerful. And now I understand more, because I was going to ask you, how was it that you tapped into emotional intelligence as kind of your core, expertise, and just I am imagining that it was a way of managing your experiences.
Right. You're very correct. The reason I went into emotional intelligence is because I started my corporate career in Pakistan, my home country, where women are not seen as leaders. Let's be honest. So I I had to struggle. I had to put myself out every time to let people know that I'm there. I can make the difference. I have this skill to do it. Every time I had to prove myself, and then I realized that every step that I'm winning is because I'm using my strengths in the right way, and I'm putting away my weaknesses for some time.
Mm-hmm.
I send them on vacation. Right? It's like, okay, that's okay. Just, enjoy. I'll call you back when you need it. But like right now, it's the strength. So I was like focused on my strengths, and then I felt that I have this picture. I'll share it on our group, where I have won an award, and the award is like I'm holding it, and the award, like people who are giving me that award, it's a picture from Pakistan. On that stage, there is not a single woman other than me who's receiving the award from tens of men.
Mm,
All the like the business leaders, like the divisional leaders, they presented an award because I did extremely well with my account. So they were kind of giving me that award, as I was just that woman, and there were like so many men, they got it together to give me that award. That picture, I use it for my presentations, but that is where emotional intelligence helped me.
mm,
And I felt that that was kind of the turning point where I said that we are missing this.
mm,
Every woman in my culture, in my country, is missing this. In our region, in South Asia region, is missing this. And then when I started traveling around the world in Northeast Asia, and then coming to Europe, and finally settling in US, I realized that we as women are not aware of the power of emotional intelligence, regardless from where we are coming from.
hmm. So what's interesting here is that instead of looking at it as kind of like an aggressive play, like, finally, as a woman, I broke through. It's this finesse of using the power of emotional intelligence to really understand, be self aware, manage yourself, be aware of the social environment, manage that environment so that it feels like less of a intrusion, right? If you could imagine one, whether it's all males or everybody from a particular culture or particular state or whatever, right? If you come in and you're like, woohoo, I'm gonna bust into your party, and I know that I'm different from you guys, and you're gonna suck it up, right? It's a little so your awareness of how to play that game and still do what was right for you, for the business, for everybody around you, and then you were able to kind of transition into that. And that's kind of interesting. Do I have the right perspective on that? Because
Yes, perfectly. And the thing here is that don't lose your focus.
Mhm,
Start from the end. That's what I tell people. Start from the end. So your wish, I wanted to, when I realized that this is what got me here, this is like I managed to save my kids, I managed to have a successful corporate career, I managed to stand as an entrepreneur, and all this happened because of my bringing emotional intelligence into perfect use.
yeah.
I have personally, tested it, and I said, no, I will focus on this. I'll focus on it. Then I started taking certifications. I started working on it. I have coaches. I learned from mentors, and I started to build myself as an expert for
Mm,
that. But the initial point was that when I realized that emotional intelligence is the integral part of any journey, I said, let me share it with the world. This
yes.
is my becoming was difficult, but let me make it easier for others. let them see from a different perspective. It's not always about numbers. It's not always about bottom line. It's not always about profits. Yes, it is, but then how to get it. I'm trying to make the connection how to get that. I'm not saying it's not important. It's important. You need to get it.
Yeah.
My elder one wants to be a lawyer. He's in law college as a refugee. We are not giving student loans. We are not granted student loans, but he is going to a law college. He's fulfilling his dreams because how is he doing it? Because I'm earning.
Yeah.
Right? I'm earning. So what I'm saying is, don't take me wrong. I'm saying, with emotional intelligence, money doesn't matter. No, but to earn that, you need to have the correct pipeline.
Right.
The perfect pipeline.
Yes.
So this is where I'm saying that your number, whatever, if you want to make $1 million, if you want to make 5 million or whatever is your goal, 30,000 a month, 100K a month, whatever is your target, yes, that should be the target. That is the end vision. That's the end. Now, start it from the end. That's what you want. So start building
from that end result, and then
that's how it is. And don't lose the focus, because the things that you focus is all what you're going to talk about. A little funny example. My son was having his online maths class. Right? This is really funny, hilarious. You all will be laughing. He was having his online maths class. After completing his online maths class, he comes to me. He's 12-year-old, by the way. He comes to me and he says, Mama, there's a cobweb right above the TV shelf. Right? And I looked at him and I said, when did you see it? He said, while taking my maths class. Now, guys, here the thing is, where was his focus? He was not focusing on his maths class because he had no interest there, whatever was the reason. And he was looking around different things and he saw the cobweb. So, and that cobweb was so important for him to come and tell me that you did not clean. See, blame game. You did not. I saw that. Right? So that's what I'm saying, that in your business, you start seeing cobwebs and you start focusing on cobwebs when you lose the focus.
Right.
Or when you lose the interest.
Yeah.
Right? So don't lose your focus just because there are cobwebs around. There will be. And whoever is responsible to clean it, let them do it. They will find out. You do your work.
You do your thing. Yeah.
Yes, you do you. You do your work. Stay focused.
Yeah.
I was laughing after that conversation, but then I use that conversation in every single talk that I'm having these days.
You're like, well, there you go. It served you well.
It is so funny, right?
Yeah.
So he kind of came to me and he was like blaming us, you don't clean it. Now, again, if I would have not worked on my emotional intelligence, the mother in me would have said, oh, pick up the broom and clean it. And then I would have started.
And then taking it like as an insult, like,
I do all the work, I'm working, and if I fail to clean, why are you telling me, and blah, blah, and why weren't you focusing on your math? I didn't do any of such thing. I just asked him a question, and that question was enough for him to understand that mom got me. Exactly. The only question I asked him, when did you see it? And he was like, during my maths class. I said, oh, okay.
My goodness. And you have 2 boys.
I have 2 boys. One is 12-year-old and the other will be 21 this August. He's in the law college.
Oh my goodness. Lucky them, NAGEEN, and lucky us, because I'm so happy that we were able to get you on Rocket Fuel Expert Spotlight. I mean, clearly there's so much we can talk about in emotional intelligence, and I just appreciate that you took the time to share with us, that you took the time to prepare like all of this for our audience, guys. The mindset reboot that she provided, I've been sharing this throughout the entire show. Please text for it. Please send us a thank you. Send NAGEEN a thank you. If you're listening to this on replay, press or type in #replay. Thank you so much. Any final words about how emotional intelligence is? #Rocket Fuel.
Final words is focus on your strengths, please. There are enough people who have told you about your weaknesses, and you have been wasting your life, your entire life, your journey, even your entrepreneur journey, in seeing things. Oh, you know, your website needs a remodeling.
Mm,
Really? Please read what is inside. That's what you need.
right.
Somebody coming and saying, oh, her social media post, she's like just copying pictures from free pick or somewhere. It's
Hmm.
not about that. She's doing the effort. So you see your effort. You see what you're writing on that picture, what message you're writing on that, what quote you're putting on there. So don't worry about the cobwebs, about the people who are responsible for creating those cobwebs. Just don't do that. With your emotional intelligence, one simple request to all of us, including myself, including our beautiful host, including everyone, each one of you, just focus on your strengths. Even if people ask you to look at your weaknesses, send them on vacation, not the people, your weakness. Send
Ta-da.
them on vacation. You don't need those people. Trust me.
Thank you so much. Wow, it was wonderful having you guys. If you're not part of the Rocket Fuel community and you are an entrepreneur who loves to work with experts, stay in your zone of excellence and want to increase your visibility, then join the Rocket Fuel family. With that, come back next week because we have some really interesting folks to introduce you here at Rocket Fuel. Have a good one.
Thank you.